course, the numbers in that sector are quite often six-figure and quite often seven-figure numbers. Was an employee, there were claims for unfair and wrongful dismissal. There was a big dispute over the value of the claim, and with quite complex schedules of loss and all those aspects to it. So in this case, there were allegations of breach of restrictions, post-termination restrictions, and so on and so forth. So it was very acrimonious, as these things often are, and the parties were reluctant to meet. So I don't think we started with in fact I know we didn't start with an opening joint meeting. I think we got the lawyers together at some point, but it mostly done in private meetings. And it was very difficult to get either of them once we were moving into the stage where the parties needed to be thinking of, well, what's your view of this case, and what can we do in terms of the value, which way is the value going to flow, and how much is it going to be, and what's it going to look like. Neither side were prepared to make an offer, and a lot of it was they should go first. You know, we want to hear from them first, and there's a whole debate around who goes first in negotiation, of course. A lot of getting them to start to make some kind of movement, some kind of negotiation, some kind of bargaining to find a solution, was getting them to look at it in a different way, to think in terms of, rather than just, well, our number is this and our number, the other side's number is that, and just throw those numbers, which is something I would be very keen to avoid in any mediation. Because it was complex, we started to break it down, look at the framing of it, looking at the rationale behind different aspects of the valuation of the various claims, and also to try and find a different frame. And the key to that, actually in that case, was an understanding that the receiving party would be open to a payment plan, a staged payment arrangement, essentially. And there are all sorts of sensitivities when people say, well, we want to pay by instalments, because it prompts all kinds of questions. Both sides were open to that. And that was the beginning of opening up that dispute. So we had a channel down which they might go, at the same time looking at the rationale behind how that figure was resolved. So employment, lots of emotion inevitably, because employment is about people's identity. For many, many years, my identity was tied up in the fact that I was a lawyer. And if somebody challenged me as a lawyer, then I could be quite emotional, couldn't I, about that. So if you challenge somebody as a successful banker, then they would be likely to resist that from an emotional point of view. So it's dealing with that emotion in the employment case, but also getting down into, at the end of the day, the parties are there to see if they can reach a resolution that normally involves at least one element of it being a financial resolution, and seeing if they can start to look at figures as well. And in that case, obviously, we were able to just start to open up that dialogue by approaching it from the other end, as it were.